Today, the globe marking World Earth Day, raising awareness about environmental issues. Global warming, deforestation and pollution still posing the biggest threats to our planet. So the theme for this year's commemoration is Restore Our Earth, and it's premised on the idea that positive change will enable future generations to enjoy a safer life. Now, through the Presidential Climate Change Commission, South Africa has committed to the development of a low-carbon and a climate-resilient economy. Let's unpack exactly what this means. We'll chat to Minister of Environmental Affairs, Forestry and Fisheries, Barbara Creecy. Minister, good morning. It's great to have you on the show on this Thursday morning. You know, we've been reflecting on how much change we saw at the height of the COVID-19 pandemic here in South Africa and around the world, in how it almost seemed like it gave the environment an opportunity to rehabilitate itself despite what the world was going through at the time. I mean, what do we read into that?
Good morning, Michelle, and greetings to all your listeners on this Earth Day. Indeed, I think that all of us did realize that during the severe lockdown phase of the pandemic, our environment was given a chance to breathe, and I think we were all fascinated by the extent to which wildlife appeared even on the streets of cities. But I think the important issue that has arisen from the pandemic has been an increasing understanding across the globe that we can no longer take the issues of environmental sustainability for granted, and that in fact we are facing a pandemic that is itself caused as a result of a disturbed relationship between human beings and wildlife. All countries, or many countries across the globe, have in their economic reconstruction and recovery plans included an aspect of green recovery. And I think that our own country is no exception to this. In our economic reconstruction and recovery plan, we have identified improved waste management. We've identified energy generation through renewables, retrofitting of government infrastructure to make it more climate resilient, and so on, as being important economic components that can not only introduce new technology into our economy, but can also create jobs, while at the same time ensuring that we begin to tread this pathway that you spoke about in your introduction towards a low-carbon economy and a climate-resilient society.
You know, Minister, it's so important that you also note that part of our climate change strategy, there is a part in that also says it's about creating jobs. Because my next question to you actually would have been, for developing nations like us, where we have so many other challenges as well, including unemployment, access to healthcare, proper sanitation, how high up on the agenda for governments like ourselves and around the world is the issue of climate change?
Michelle, it's increasingly high on the agenda because South Africa is one of several nations in Southern Africa that is severely affected by the consequences of climate change. We've had prolonged drought, we have extreme weather events, so that is already impacting on our agricultural sector, it's impacting on human settlements. So I don't think it's an either or.
Yeah.
I think the issue is how do we take advantage of the opportunities that green technologies open up to enhance economic development, while at the same time doing it in a manner that is compatible with the requirements of environmental sustainability.
Yeah, absolutely. In effect, the challenges that we face outside of climate change challenges here in South Africa and around the world, it's not in isolation from our other challenges, including healthcare, unemployment, etc.
Absolutely. And I think that what we are seeing across the world is that there are two areas where economic growth is taking place. The one is obviously in the digital space, but green technologies are the major area of technological innovation and also job creation in many countries. We know that our own renewable program has created upwards of 40,000 jobs. We know that it's brought in over 200 billion rands worth of investment, and we expect that bid window 5 is going to add to those investment opportunities and the job creation opportunities. But similarly, areas like more sustainable waste management are also areas where you have opportunities to pull informal workers into a more formal value chain, where you have opportunities to create brand new industries, and of course at the same time ensure that we are no longer working in a take, make and throw away environment, but moving towards a more circular economy in the way in which we use and consume resources and ensure that they have a second life.
So Minister, when we talk about climate change and the risks posed by climate change to our own economic recovery, what do we mean by that?
I think there are two risks. So the first risk is a climate risk. So if there are severe weather events, if there is drought, that obviously is going to impact on agriculture, which at the moment is the one area of the economy that is growing sustainably. It's obviously going to impact on livelihoods, particularly in rural areas. But there is also what we call the transition risk. And the transition risk relates to the fact that across the world, our major trading partners have declared and committed to economies that will be net carbon zero in terms of emissions by 2050. And as those economies, the EU, Japan, China itself has made a mid-century commitment. As those 11 major trading economies make these kinds of commitments, so they will be looking to trade with other economies who have made similar commitments so that they can protect their investments into renewables. So obviously, if we are not part of that process, we do risk what we are already seeing, which is non-tariff trade barriers. But also, I think that what we risk is a situation where investment finance may not find our economy attractive. We've already seen a situation where major financial institutions are saying that they won't invest in new fossil